Glory, glory to the eternal living God. It's your brother Jehoshaphat Israel back here with a little bit of topic. I'm not gonna take a lot of bit of your time, but I want you to look down at the breakdowns because one of the topics is that Donald Trump is cutting food stamps. How will that affect everybody? You know what I'm saying? How will that affect America? That's what I'm looking at. And half of I can't even say half. Yeah, half of our people are working. So what am I supposed to say? You know what I'm saying? They wouldn't, it's a lot of us that go to work and we make just under what it is to actually get the food stamps. Am I knocking anybody on food stamps? No, I would never do that because I've already been there. I've already been in them lines. I've actually had food stamps in my hand, books of food stamps. Come on now. You know what I'm saying? And I had to use them. So I could never knock anybody. But some people like me, we don't even qualify for food stamps. They don't care. You know what I'm saying? I could sit up here and my rent would be $10,000. They would never give me any food stamps. But back to the topic. Who is affected morally by food stamps? If you ever get the chance to drive around the United States, there are nothing but towns in America that is white people. And they have a little downtown, they have a court, they have a jail, but for the most part, the majority of people that living in them rural areas are all white people. Sometimes they get seasonal work. Sometimes it might be a factory in that town and all the white people work in that town, but not all the time do they have money like that. So the majority of America is rural white areas. That's why it blows my mind when white people sit up there and they say, oh, we're going to build an all white town. Have you driven through America? You know what I'm saying? Our people, African American people, we only congregate in large populated cities. We really don't do the rural county unless you are in Texas. If you're in Texas and Mississippi, Louisiana, Mississippi, down south, you in places like that, you might come across some towns that's the majority are black. 90% of the people that live there are black. But if you haven't had the chance to get out the metropolis and the major cities that's here in America, all you will see is all these white towns that's rural areas, and that's only white people that live there, and they don't got money. They poor white people at that. I'm just telling you the truth, family. You know what I'm saying? It's a lot. It's thousands and thousands of poor rural areas where only white people live there, and they live in the slums. Some of them can't even afford a house. They just live in the forest, family, or under bridges and stuff. It's a lot of white towns in America that are poor. So when Donald Trump sits up there and he says, oh, well, I'm going to cut food stamps. Who does that really affect? It affects white people a lot. You know what I'm saying? It affects white people a lot. Now, you see the breakdown. You see whites, 35%. It's more white people that's on food stamps than black people. You see the age category of what's the age demographic of the people that's actually using food stamps. You see that, right? Race unknown. Asian people probably, you know what I'm saying? Some people unknown. Native Americans is 1%. Asian is 4%. Hispanic Latinos is 16%. Black folks is 26%. The age range from anybody from 18 to 59. They need that help. But who will be affected more over food stamps being taken away? It's more white people living in these rural areas that don't have money, family. They're broke. You know what I'm saying? They broke, you know what I'm saying? And since they broke and since they've been living in that town and they have 4 or 5 generations of white folks living in that town, a lot of them don't even leave the town. They live and they die in those small towns. They got populations of 500, 300, 200, 1,000, 800 people scattered across the whole United States of America. You know what I'm saying? Those people are the ones that's going to be most effective because when you drive to their little rural areas, they got one little corner store. They don't live in a major metropolis. And even though they got one doctor in that whole damn city, you know what I'm saying? They got one doctor. They probably have to drive to another city just to see a dentist, or they probably have to drive a couple states over just to get to a real hospital. So when the question is posed, who's going to be affected more about the cutting of SNAP? Poor white people, poor white families, poor white people living in rural areas to where they don't have the amenities and the necessities that we can just get to. We can go to the food bank. We can go to some of the different places that give away free food to people. You know what I'm saying? We could take these things and we can have them. But who's going to be affected more over the cutting of food stamps? It would have to be white people. White people is going to suffer over that. I don't really see. Don't get me wrong. I heard all the stuff in person on the internet that all your people is saying. I heard all that stuff that they saying. Oh, we going to do this. We going to have to do that. The police said this. The police said that. But it's a lot of black folk out here. We don't depend on food stamps. We never really depended on food stamps. We don't even eat like that. You know what I'm saying? We don't even got money to just sit up there and eat like that. So when they say, oh, you got to guarantee $200 to $300 every single month for food, the working class black people, we don't even see it like that. We got to do whatever the hell we got to do just to survive. We have to make it. So we don't even see meals like that. We don't even see food like that. And we grateful for whatever that we have. Am I knocking the next person? No, I'm not. I say it all the time. I get offended when a person is in line and they so damn arrogant and they got an attitude with somebody that's got a food stamp card and they be the first one to sit up there. Well, my taxes pay for you to have food. Your taxes don't pay for shit. Your taxes pay for your ass and whatever you got going on. You know what I'm saying? That's what your taxes is paying for. Your lot, your portion. Your taxes ain't got nothing to do with them people with a food stamp card. So it makes me mad. You know what I'm saying? It makes me mad to see people being put down because they're on that program. But y'all got to understand, not all black people are on the food stamp program. Only 26% of our people are on food stamps. Half of our people are working. You know what I'm saying? Half of our people are working. That's more than any other race of people. Who will be affected by them taking away food stamps for this month? It would have to be poor white people that live in rural areas. You know what I'm saying? And it's more of them. If you take all them people that live in all them rural areas across the United States of America, they would flood the people that actually lives in the metropolis, lives in the dense populated areas. They would overflood them. So who will be affected over food stamps more? It would have to fall on poor white people. Us black folk, we know what we have to do to survive. We gonna get it out the mud. We gonna pull it off the tree. We gonna do whatever the hell we got to do to survive. But when the question was asked, who is gonna be affected more over food stamps? It would have to fall on poor white people. They will suffer over this.
White American culture.
Over the last year and a half, high up in the Ozark Hills in the state of Arkansas, dozens of people have been working hard, leveling the land, building houses. They call it an intentional community based around shared ancestry, a long-winded way of saying...
This is all you see in America. You know what I'm saying? This is all you see, state to state, city to city. You see, unless you out of the major metropolis, the major cities, Chicago, LA, any major city that's here, Houston, any major city is where our people are. We don't live in these rural areas. So when white people sit up there and they say, we want an all white town, you have thousands of them. Thousands of them, you know what I'm saying? And black people, when we be on the road, we already know not to stop in that place like that. We already know because we see too many peering white eyes at us with hatred to feel safe in those places. But all around America, that's all you see is all these rural areas with these poor white people living inside. They got the baller. The mayor, he balling. You know what I'm saying? The chief of police, he's balling. You know what I'm saying? The judge, he balling. You know what I'm saying? There will probably be, and then the business owners that put everybody else to work. The majority of them people only work at one place because there's only one place to work, unless they trying to be off grid, eating off of the land. So it just blows my mind when white folks sit up there and they say that we want an all white town. Y'all have thousands of them. You know what I'm saying? And then in the major cities, you got areas that only white people can afford to be up over there in the first place. So what the hell are you talking about?
Something really quite simple.
I think we would generally be called for, right? Sure.
It's called Return to the Land, and they invited me in.
A lot of people are going to be, why are you making Nazi references? Right.
Well, why wouldn't I?
A seemingly bucolic and sometimes surreal experience. But this is built on a radical modern premise, made possible because...
But that's all you see around this whole country. And then the saddest thing about it, they wanted Trump in office so damn bad, but then they the only ones that's going to be suffering because of him being in office. Because he's going to sit up here and do little things that he's think that's going to affect and is going to hurt the black community, and it's not going to hurt us like that. It really isn't. It's curses and blessings that's on my people. The best time where we really thrive is under pressure. We really do. You know what I'm saying? We really do. That has been a marker that's been placed on our people. We have curses and blessings that's already on us that no man can take away, no man can discard, no man can discredit. So as I look at all of these ploys and all of these tactics to get at your people, all of those things is going to be turned around on them. Why is that? Because we under these curses and these blessings. If you build a ditch for me to fall in it, you're going to fall in the damn ditch. It falls on the markers of the curses and the blessings that put on God's holy people, his chosen people. We the only people that got these damn markers that's put on us like that.
Against their poor white people should know that they're voting against their best interests. Poor white people need to see the light, that voting for rich billionaires doesn't help them. They see the light. They know what they're doing. They know that they're voting against their interests. They know, and they don't care. They're angry and upset that their whiteness has not saved them from the doldrums of being poor, and they know in the depths of their poor white souls that they do not have the skills, the ambition, or the smarts to survive in a world that requires all of those things to not be poor. Let me tell you something right here, right now. Poor black people and poor people of color become disillusioned and, become jaded. That's it. Poor white people become domestic terrorists and mass shooters. This is why our efforts to build bridges, to build community, to reach across the aisle, to do all of those things fail time and time again, because we're dealing with a group of individuals who know that they have experienced generations of life-altering poverty as the result of actions from other white people who are wealthy and privileged. They know good and goddamn well that black people just got the right to vote less than 60 years ago. So it's not black people, and it's certainly not immigrants and people of color who are making the policy and legislative decisions that render poor white people poor. It's not black people and people of color making those policy decisions. It's other white people, privileged, college-educated white people who are making those decisions. And poor white people know this. Fundamentally, they know this. They are just that full of hate and insist upon directing their hate towards black people and towards people of color, because at their core, they're racist no matter what. That's what you have to understand about white supremacy and about many, 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 many white people in general. No matter how disenfranchised they may be on the basis of income, on the basis of lack of education, on the basis of disability, on the basis of neurodivergence, on the basis of LGBTQ status, whatever it is, they're still white, and they will still cling to that white privilege, especially when they have no other privileges or systems of power with which to cling. That is why
Now, no disrespect. I don't know if it's a woman or a man. I'm not going to disrespect my God, but I don't want to be disrespectful either. You know what I'm saying? So I'm going to just call it a person. You know what I'm saying? I don't fall into none of them categories of what them people be saying. Oh, you LGB. Oh, you this. No, I'm not gonna hate you. You know what I'm saying? I'm not gonna throw shade on you. I'm not gonna do any of this. You're a person. We all people. You know what I'm saying? We all people, and it's just a person. But I do not know if it's a boy or a girl, so I'm going to just say person. Now, the person, all the stuff that they said is true. It's right. You know what I'm saying? It's right. Why would you vote knowing damn well that that's going to put you in a box? That's going to hurt your children. Why would you even do that? You would let your racism. That's why when I look at the people who say that they're nationalists. They're Christian nationalists. You mean to tell me you will put your country before your God? Black people are not nationalists. We put God before we as black people, we put God before our own people. Our people come next. You know what I'm saying? We put our God first, then our people, then our country. This is the difference between black people and white people. If you look at it, you know what I'm saying? The majority of white people are Christian nationalists. They care more about their country. Why would I care more about this country when God made all of this? When God, he controls every single thing under the damn sun. Why would I look at this place, this earth, as in something that I would sit up here and I would identify it with being some type of deity that I would give praise to? Because that's what a Christian nationalist is to me. They care more about this country than they care about God. Black folk, we care more about God than we care about this country. We care more about God than we care about our own people. This is the difference between our people. We can never be nationalists. Never. Because God comes first. Then our people. Then our country. We love our country. We love America. America is on that list of things that we will protect. We will fight for. But it's all the way at the bottom. Our people come first. Before our country, you got to understand that, you know what I'm saying? Before we put any faith into this country, we're going to put faith and we're going to build our people up. That's going to make this country great. We're going to praise our God because he comes first. This is the difference between us and them.
Rural voters, a threat to democracy.
They're the most racist, xenophobic, anti-immigrant, anti-gay, geodemographic group in the country. Second, they're the most conspiracious group. QAnon support and subscribers, election denialism, COVID denialism, and scientific skepticism, Obama birtherism. Third, anti-democratic sentiments. They don't believe in an independent press, free speech. They're most likely to say the president should be able to act unilaterally without any checks from Congress or the courts.
So you got to imagine the white folks that live in rural areas. They are one of the biggest white voting blocks. You know what I'm saying? All them rich people can get together and vote on whatever the hell they want to vote on. They got to answer to rural white America. You know what I'm saying? Of what they doing. And them people is going to co-side whatever they said. They going to co-side with it because they like their way of life. They like their way of living. Now, who is the people that's going to be majorly affected over the food stamps? You know what I'm saying? And any other government assistance program you could possibly think of in the world. Who's going to be affected by it? White people who live in rural areas. They don't have the same connections that we have. They just can't walk 30 minutes to get to a hospital like that. Can't do that. You know what I'm saying? They can't walk no hour to get to a damn grocery store. There ain't nobody helping them other people like that. They all that they got. That's it. And if you know how they living, they live the poorest lives. You know what I'm saying? Have you seen them? You know what I'm saying? Have you seen white people who live in rural areas? You know what I'm saying? They're the poorest people. And if you could really, and you'd be like, what do you mean, Jehoshaphat? We got people that live in the city and they're homeless. The homeless people that live in our cities got more help than the poor white people that live in the rural areas. They got more places that they can go to get cleaned up, to get help, to get jobs, to get food. The white people that live in poor white areas, they don't have none of that stuff. They probably got one school. That school is a elementary, a middle school, and a high school. You know what I'm saying? You see how poor these people are. You know what I'm saying? So who's going to be affected? White, poor people.